Can you dig it, sucker?
Oh, yeah. In the building. What up? Fantasy Football Hustler back at you, bringing you fantasy news today. Oh, yeah, I am by myself right now, but the crew will be in here in a few minutes' time. And starting off with my man Francisco. What up, bro? Second Take Extra in the building. What up, bruh? How about them Cowboys? And don't worry, we're going to get into the status of them real soon. Antonio in the building. What up, bro? Oh, shit. Sir Bong's a lot in the building. What up? And Life and Sports Talk with Jake. What up? Chase in the building. What up? Who else up in here? And got a Facebook user in here. Said, yup. What up, bro? Hop over to YouTube. Just type in Fantasy Football Hustler on YouTube and get into the action. Way better on YouTube than Facebook. And Nathan, what up, bro? Said Chargers making me proud last night. Hell yeah. Nigel, what up? Said shout out Bong. What up? We'll go ahead and smoke it up here real soon. Mcsorley, what up? And I'm an island boy. Did anyone else drink a whole bottle of whiskey while watching their fantasy team yesterday? Or was that just me? Oh, man. Well, I had a couple of those. Games, bro. I had a couple of them. I'm in 45 leagues. So, you're always bound to have a couple crappy ones when you got that many leagues flowing. Oh, yeah. 4:20 on the East Coast. 5 minutes. Let's go. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Even better, Mcsorley. Let's go. AK, what up, Amy? What's going down? David in the building. What up? All right, let's see. We'll go with Antonio first. Add Carter to a list of my injuries in WWF 1. Yes, so Michael Carter suffered a low-grade ankle sprain. He's expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Oh, man, not looking good. He was, I'm not going to say he was a cheat code or anything, especially like you drafted him in Dynasty, you've had him there for a while, but man, it was so nice having him because people were just like off of him. And I picked him up as a free agent in certain places. Like, man, it was awesome. And now we gotta live without him for a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So by the playoffs, he'll be back by the playoffs. So don't drop him. It's a dynasty league that you're talking about, but if you're in redraft, do not drop him. You gotta hold him. Better days are ahead. All right. And let's see here. So for the Titans, who just looked absolutely trash yesterday, AJ Brown, initial test came back on his chest and ribs. They came back negative. So he avoided major injury, thankfully, but everything with the Titans just is not looking good right now. It's something that we're definitely going to have to monitor. And yeah, I don't know about these Titans, bro. I don't know about these Titans right now. Let's see. How about Justin Fields? So had a rib injury as well, got smashed when he tried to run for it. And so he got knocked out of the game yesterday. If you guys missed it, it's believed to be minor. There's more news to come. Didn't give us much right now, except that the injury is believed to be minor. Doesn't mean he's going to play this week. We shall see. Let me pull up the schedule, the schedule for week 12, just in case there's any questions about week 12. And yeah, I guess what sucks for Fields is they play on Thursday. So it's probably, it's a short turnaround time either way. So I don't even know if just with that rib injury, if they're even going to want to throw him out there. All right. What else we got here? So for the Dolphins, all right. Flores is unsure if Parker and Fuller are coming back this week. So probably going to have another week without them. And going up against the Panthers, really, really horrible matchup either way. So yeah, Parker, Fuller, we're going to be living to fight in another day, more than likely. All right, let's see. Any questions I missed here? Well, Francisco said, "What up? What up? Ready for some news? Terrible week for me. Lost in more than 50% of my leagues, and man, Francisco's in like 75 leagues. Didn't win any bets this week, and the Packers lost. Man, can we have a do-over this week, bro? I feel you, man. I feel you." And second take extra. I'm waiting for TD to get on, and then we'll talk about some Cowboys stuff. But he asked for the status on Lamb. We got a status on Lamb, so we'll be coming back to that one. And Life and Sports Talk with Jake said, "What's good, guys? Carter is hopefully okay. Is Ayuk reliable the rest of the season?" Happy Monday. So hopefully you just heard the Carter news, out 2 to 3 weeks with low-grade ankle sprain. And is Ayuk reliable rest of the season? I got to say he's right in the middle. He's right in the middle because I think he is a matchup-based play. But a lot of people are, a lot of these defenses, they're keying in on Debo. It's really just about the run game getting working a little bit, but seems like he's out of the doghouse. We're hoping that he could be reliable rest of the season. Really, if 49ers just keep scoring touchdowns, makes all the pieces a little bit better over there. All right, let's see. And Antonio said, Henry, Carter, Martinez, Watt. You got both Watt brothers over there. Wilson, Kirksey, and more. I give up. Yeah, bro, that's tough, man. That is tough. And Chase said, took an L this week, but I'm still in first. There we go. Had to beat someone that has Taylor. Woo! Good job, dude. Good job. All right. And it is 4:20. 4:20 Eastern time. So let's go ahead and pack this up. Let's get it. All right. All right, we got him in the building. Told you I wasn't going to be by myself this whole time. He is in the building. Our man Bogard Scott free, breaking those walls down.
Come on. You know I got you. Yeah. One. Break the wall.
Yeah.
In the building.
In the words of Hustler, what up, what up?
Yeah. And like Gandalf always says, a wizard is never early nor late. He always shows up right when he's supposed to.
Oh, I'm fucking late.
Hey, man, but you're not in daddy daycare, so man, things are doing good.
My mom, because I had to run around for work, so my mom's watching them right now. But she about to dip out in a sec. You know what I mean? Just had to get all the kids situated. You know what I mean?
There we go. I'm an island boy. Say what up, Bogard?
What up? Shout out to the islands.
Yeah, second take extra. Shouting out Bogard.
What up? Second take. How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, we're waiting. We're waiting for TD. We're not even talking about the Cowboys.
Okay.
We're waiting for TD to show up. This is what happens when you bank on the Cowboys. That is all I'm gonna say. They hurt you when it means the most. We're waiting for TD. We're waiting for TD. I don't even want to get my blood boiling just yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about it.
Yeah. And so we talked about a couple things. Talked about Carter going out 2 to 3 weeks with that low-grade ankle sprain.
Ty Johnson, you know what I mean? Ty Johnson's a nice streaming option. Till then, Tevin Coleman's nothing. You know what
nothing.
I mean? Yeah.
And Chase said, "How about them Niners, Bogard?"
Yeah. Let's not talk about us. Let's not jinx it. You know what I mean?
It was the Jaguars, but at least they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. Listen, hold on. According to my calculations, because, this is, I hate it when people do this, but I'm going to do it right now. It's like, so they beat the Bills and we beat them. We're better than the Bills.
Yeah. That's just NFL math right there. That's the way it is. And you know what's funny? When was it? Saturday, we go on the Pick'em show. And, with Stu's funny. Hopefully you're on here, Stu, because I'm going to give you a little bit of shit always. He's always like, when we come on here, we're talking real football. So, just keep that in mind. We're always talking real football. The reason why fantasy players are usually better than people who are just like ride or die, like NFL players, is the home-based biasness. Like, that's really what it is. Like, I was the only one out of 5 or 6 people on that panel who chose the Chiefs, and Bogart knew that he should have chosen, but he just did the right thing. He's in the enemy territory and doesn't want to feel.
No, but here's the thing. It's also part of willing. Okay, I looked at it like this is a good defense the Cowboys got. You know what I mean? That can do just enough and their offense is so good, and the Chiefs' defense is so bad. But then it, turns out like the Chiefs look like one of the best defenses when they're playing one of the best offenses, apparently. You know what I mean? So all the variables are there for me to feel good to throw a couple dollars on the Cowboys. Like, actually, that's one of the only games I put like a substantial amount of money on. You know what I mean? And like,
and you went Chiefs?
No, I went to Cowboys. That's part of like when I'm on the show, I'm trying to will that into existence because I believed it. You know what I mean?
And you know who was the superstar of all that was TD taking the points on like every single, not every single game, but every game where it was double digit. There was 3 games that were double digit points. Yeah. And bro,
Colts, Texans, and I forget the other one, but yeah, he took them all.
Here's a real question. Is the NFL really rigged? Like, we're talking about over the last 2 weeks, the teams that had like the highest spreads, like the teams that were like the for sure locks for these bettors, like it went the opposite way on like every single big lock that you could have over the last 2 weeks.
It's a tale of 2 halves, right? The first half of the season, it wasn't like this. And then, we got into week 8, 9-ish, and it's been underdog city. You know what I mean? Like, just the dogs have been winning on the road, covering on the road, covering at home. Like, it's especially this one where a lot of the dogs were on the road, or not a lot, but the couple that did cover, like the Texans, bro, like they're on the road, like, and you could
dominate.
Right? And what's funny is like Tyrod Taylor really runs out of juice at one point. Like, this is like Tyrod Taylor classic ramrod shit. You know what I mean? He fucks them real quick, and then he's useless. You know what I mean? And they couldn't even climb back in. The Tennessee Titans offense is just
it's bad. It's bad right now. I mean, if you shut down AJ Brown, which he got popped. We talked about him. So the X-rays on his ribs and chest and all that came back negative, but it was enough to knock him out of the game. Like
smooth off his ass.
Yeah, and the Texans, they didn't do shit on offense. Like, their defense just came to play. And we've been talking about their defense like all year, how it's looked like really good.
Yeah, listen, I missed that part of the show, but when you're talking about AJ Brown, but he has it's a tummy ache. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's still it's not ribs, it's his stomach is all fucked up. He took a hit to the guttery, right in the guttery, and then and I when people say, "Oh, I saw stars," he saw what's that burrito joint? He saw Chipotle's. You know what I mean?
It was heartburn. It was heartburn from Chipotle. And when I did see him go off the field, he was like he was holding his chest like up here, like when they were asking him. So that is one thing that I saw, but
yeah, it sucks, man, because you start to think like, because he was one of those receivers that's highly efficient with that low volume of passing, right? And the efficiency definitely correlates with them stacking the box for a Henry. You know what I mean? With no King there, you know what I mean? He's just one of the bishops at best on a chair. He's not a pawn by any means, but everybody else is. While you got the King out, everybody else is pawns, and you got the AJ Brown who's a bishop, and you know what I mean? It's just a wrap.
Yep. And so we talked about it on the What If show last week when we were doing the little watch along party. And I said, what if the number 1 seeds like aren't even locked up by week 18, and like the Titans win this week, they give themselves a nice little lead, in the AFC to lock up that number 1 seed. But now that they
fucked up, they fucked that up.
Oh yeah. They're the number 1 seed as of right now, but like, they're half game ahead of New England, half game ahead of the Chiefs, 1 game ahead of the Ravens. So like, it ain't looking good for them as of right now. They needed to win that game.
And listen, man, I me, I like to troll people that hate the Patriots. Because remember, my thing was like, what if, are people going to continue to hate the Patriots even with no Brady? Because everyone hates Brady, or is it just a collection? You hate all things Brady and Patriots. Because now the Patriots are back to number 1. You know what I mean?
I still hate the Patriots. It's just more fun that way. It's more fun.
They're number 1 in their division right now.
That's 5-game winning streak. Like, man, longest. Chiefs, they're on a 4-game winning streak. Outside of that,
it was Tennessee. They were about to match it with. They were about to go 6.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And no more.
Yeah, the Patriots, that evil. I mean, so last year, I mean, everything that they were doing, they were building for this year. Like we already saw it. You let all. I mean, if I played for the Patriots, which I don't, but everybody who we hear talking about the Patriots, like it's probably the hardest team to play for. You got to know the most shit, like because their playbook is crazy, and you got to be on your P's and Q's like all the time when you're off the field. You can't be posting on social media doing no shit like that. Like that could cost you playing time.
Yeah, and like what's crazy is like the impact that bringing in Cam had, because it was like, hey, coach, you can smile a little, coach. You know what I mean? Because remember, you'd always see the footage of them in camp, and Cam's dancing, and Bill Belichick's over there laughing, and like, then they figured out enough about Mac Jones. They're like, all right, Cam, you're out of here. You know what I mean? It was fun, but you're out of here. And they waited to find any excuse. Remember, it was like Cam got tested at some non-Patriots facility or some bullshit, and they're like, you know what, you're out of here. You know what I mean? They just found a way because they saw Mac Jones as their guy, and they're always going to compare him to Brady, and his rookie numbers are killing Brady right now. When Brady was a rookie, you know what I mean? The completion rating, touchdown to interception ratio, etc. You know what I mean? So
that's what's crazy is like Mac Jones gonna like it's crazy to think that Mac Jones, if he like stays with the Patriots for how long was Tom Brady there? Like 17 years, 18 years? Like if
19?
I mean, if he stays with the Patriots like damn near that long, like I mean, I'm not saying the Patriots are going to win that many Super Bowls, but I bet his stats could like be way above beyond Tom Brady's. Like, he's got to stay there for that long. Like that's the big asterisk. Like he's got to stay with the Patriots.
I mean, and he's already got the dad body, no kids, right? It's like me when I wear a muscle shirt, no muscles. You know what I mean? Dad body, no kids. Like it's like I got the most kids, and I'm maybe it's my forever battle against metabolism, but I digress.
I'm sure people on the other side of the metabolism would love to have it your way.
They tell me this all the time. And then like one of my cousins, he's always like, yeah, you eat whatever you want, but you'll die of a heart attack. I'm like, damn. I'm like, hella mad because you're chunky and I'm skinny and glorious. He was like, I'm like, listen, I hear you though, because just eating good doesn't, like, people that are heavier sets, a lot of times it's genetics too. You know what I mean? You just you can eat healthy as you want, and you still, you know what I mean? It's just everyone's different. Like I'm probably severely under what's the word? Like less healthy. Under healthy. We're going with it.
It's a new word now.
Yes.
And Second Take Extra said, Hustler and Bogard, who do you hate more, the Pats or the Cowboys? So I don't hate the Cowboys. It's more like the fans for me. And the Cowboys, because they always fail, they're kind of just more fun, than anything. Like I could poke the bear like a lot really easily, and it's fun.
See, check this out, Second Take. I was always partial to the Packers and the Pats because Aaron Rodgers and Brady were guys that my Niners were supposed to draft because they were open and admitting about wanting to come to the Niners, and their heroes were Joe Montana and Steve Young. And, that's a high bar to compare yourself to. I wanted those guys for my team. So in all the years my Niners were bad, I would root for Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is fun to me because everybody hates him. He's a cheater. He's this, he's that. I'm like, yeah, you do what you got to do to win. You know what I mean?
I love being on the opposite. I love being on the opposite side of everything Tom Brady, because like everyone who's just on Tom Brady being the GOAT and just like bowing down to everything, that's just boring conversations to have.
What the funny thing to me is too, is like, I'm from the Bay. So like, a lot of my homies are Raider fans. And like, before it just be like, if we're having a sports, argument, not even debate, because that's usually what it is when fan bases talk to each other. It's an argument. And I'd just be like, well,
a passionate, heated argument too.
And I'd be like, you know what? It wasn't a fumble. Okay. It wasn't a forward pass, motherfuckers. How about that? Hella man.
Just like how I hit everybody with it wasn't a catch on the show, and everybody knew exactly what I was talking about.
It's funny.
Everyone got heated on that one. That shit was funny.
I do realize how much I am wired as a fantasy analyst though, because like when I was breaking down that Chiefs Cowboys game, I'm I'm looking for fantasy, bonanza, and it was a complete and utter opposite. But when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, they play a ton of man coverage over there with the Chiefs, and so does the Cowboys. And then you look at the Chiefs' success rate against man. They kill man, and then same thing with the Cowboys. They kill man, and then they go out there and they zone them up to death. Like, what the fuck? Like,
so even though the game was real horrible, as far as like fantasy goes, like you have to bet on games like that because remember the Chiefs and the Rams.
Yeah,
like in 2018 or 19 or whatever the hell it was, like both teams going over 50 points. Like, yeah, like games like that can happen too. And David P, we're always going to be hating on you, bro, if it's one of the teams we're hating on. I don't know which part. I don't know which part of we're hating on you, but let me know. All right, he's in the building. Our man TD repping Fantasy Good Sports in the building.
He has to bite his lip when he comes in.
Stupid, man.
That was extra burnt for sure.
Oh, buddy.
What up, TD?
What's going on, bros?
Shit, what's up, bro?
You came on. You must have heard us talking about the Cowboys.
I did. I was on the live while I was getting here. I heard the live. Yeah, we lost, but reason why I picked the Cowboys, I even said I was like, I'm picking with my heart. I knew what the Kansas City.
He said that.
You were the only one who said that, though.
Yes,
I didn't hear Mark say that. I didn't hear Stu say that. They said we're about to whoop the Chiefs' ass.
They did.
And we're about to run it all over them. That's what I remember hearing. We're about to run it all over the Chiefs. They can't stop the run.
Hey, listen, but you can't predict that Zeke is going to get hurt and miss most of the first half. And then it's already too late to run the ball by the time you get to the half. You know what I mean? And because, having a double-digit deficit, you're not running the ball isn't really in your game plan at that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny, though? You know what was funny when I talked to Stu about this, he brought up the things that he knew prior to the game starting, and he tried to use those as an excuse. I was like, well, a smart guy like you would have known to take the latter side then. Take the other side if you knew all that before the game even started. Go ahead, TD.
Oh, go ahead.
What up, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, CD, they did say, so according to the Cowboys VP, CD's looking really good, and there's a chance that he could play on Thursday. So you literally going to have to monitor this like all week as we normally do.
I mean, we got today's practice and tomorrow's is important because they play on Thanksgiving, right? Or did they play this weekend?
Yeah, they always play on Thanksgiving.
No. It's always the you're right. They always do. The Lions. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
My bad. I had a little blip in a little glip.
Yeah, and the Lions usually play on Thursday, but I don't think they do every single year. Like, no. I mean, the Lions do. I swear it's like the Bears.
It's always the Cowboys and the Lions. Yeah,
those are the ones for sure.
I went down a rabbit hole one time to find out why those two teams in like I guess back in the 50s. Yes, like the 50s or 60s, there were some of the worst teams. So like they're like, let them play on Thanksgiving because nobody else would want to play on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know why my Cowboys got to play? Why we get to play on Thanksgiving too, right?
Why?
Enlighten us.
Yes, because
you're America's team.
No, because they wanted to find somebody to play, and we volunteered. And once we volunteered, then everybody wanted to start. Then we was grandfather clause in. So that's the reason why we get to do it, because nobody wanted to play on Thanksgiving.
Man, TD, before the show, we were literally talking about people being afraid to like try something that's different or get in on the ground floor or something brand new. So yeah, Cowboys do get the props for that because everyone's like, who the hell is going to watch football on Thanksgiving? And like now, I don't think there's never been a Thanksgiving party that I've gone to where football at least wasn't up in the background at any time of the day.
100%.
Exactly. And second take, I want to tell you, so what team has won the Super Bowl undefeated? So
I know. Call me.
Why we got to be trash? Why we got to be trash, bro? And Because we lost like what, 3 games?
There's
4 games?
31 teams that have never done this. You know, the Dolphins are the one team. And it was a 14-week season. And all those motherfuckers, they celebrate constantly around the year. As soon as they start celebrating every time a team takes a loss, because, you know, like, oh, they ain't going to do it. You know what I mean?
About Miami, right?
Yeah, the OGs. Yeah, they pop champagne every time
they celebrate every year. Yeah, they have a great time. That
shit is never. It's never going to be broken now. It is so hard to do that. Now you add on the extra game. Now you add on, you know, the extra, the only one bye team, you know, like all these kind of things that are just going to make it so much harder.
Was like, not on my watch, Patriots.
I got 2 passes in me and one of them's going to win it. But, yeah, I mean, even, and you know what lost them that game? I already knew it was going to come back to bite them in the ass, the Patriots, when they actually had the shot. It was Junior Seau who went and he came out. He had his big Lou Gehrig speech, you know, like crying and all this stuff and how he's done with football and, you know, he owes everything to the Chargers and all this and that and blah, 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 blah. And then 2 weeks later, he gets a call from the Patriots and he goes over there and it's him and Teddy Bruschi. And there's like one of the dopest defenses of all time.
Yep.
And
hey,
they failed.
You know, Bruschi's half Filipino.
I didn't know that. I mean, you look at him, and now, I mean, it totally makes sense.
It's my cousin. It's my cousin. Hey, listen. Hey, you know, listen. Seau had like a lifelong case of the dizzies. You know what I mean? So he probably just didn't even realize he was retired when he got the call. He's like, hell yeah, I want to come play for y'all. You know what I mean? Hey,
and one day I'll share my whole crazy like story how I'm like 2 degrees of separation from like Junior Seau and everything that went off the rails of that.
Yeah, I told you. I told you back in 2013. I rented his house for a week. I didn't know it was formerly his house, but I was in that joint. It's fat ass house too, beach house on Oceanside, and yeah, bro, like it was crazy because when my sister's like, yeah, so it's like some guy, Junior Seau, used to own this house. I was like, what? And then I'm doing my Googles. You know what I mean? And we were chilling in the man cave. Where, like, you know, they had a pool table, all the shit. That was, you know, where he did it at. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, shit. And I was just telling my uncle that was there. I was like, hey, bro, you a Raiders fan, bro. You shouldn't stay here. No, but you know what? And then it was awesome, though, because, like, we'd be on the balcony, and it's a literal stone's throw to the beach, bro. And people would drive, and it was a one-way. So people were driving by after the Chargers won that Sunday. People were driving by yelling out, say, Junior. Like, you know, just pulling over, taking pictures in front of the house and shit. I was like, that's kind of dope, man, because he was awesome.
And just like, I mean, if anyone hasn't seen that ESPN 30 for 30 about him, like, you need to go watch that shit. Like,
I ain't seen awesome. That shit. I gotta watch that shit.
Oh yeah, you need to go. Especially you live there. Like, man, they show like, you know, when he passed away and all that, how like everyone did a tribute, like they were all out there on their surfboards and everything. Oh, yeah. And yeah, so I mean, I know they still do that every once in a while because yeah, he was the man, and you could just tell though, like, man, that CTE.
So going back to CD deal, they said that he looks good.
Well, I mean, this is the VP. This isn't the coach or anything. So, I mean, says he's looking real good. I don't even know what that entails on a Monday. Maybe he
could be attracted to
maybe they're just giving him the finger test, you know, and his eyes are working good for all we know. Like, who the hell knows? But
even though his brain is spinning like a CD. See what I did there?
So all we know is it sounds like it's trending in the right direction, but it is a short ass turnaround time.
And I got CD everywhere, bro. Come back to me, CD. Don't do this to me. Him and David Montgomery, out of 21 leagues, I have them each six teams each.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a couple of CD Montgomery shares too, or teams also. It's like, so I just been waiting. I've been surviving, and like CD is just he's been not consistent. If you look at it.
Now, everything that's came from the Cowboys today, it's all sounded good. So we don't know if it's, you know, just bullshit from the VP. I guess we'll find out tomorrow a little bit because tomorrow's going to be, I mean, they're going to be practicing tomorrow a little bit heavier. But Zeke, bone bruise, should be okay to play Thursday. And they said that Tyron Smith, they're feeling really good about his chances to play on Thursday.
You know, listen, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, TD. I want you to fill me on this. Does this team? Oh, I feel this team comes and goes as Tyron, bro.
It depends on who we playing. Yes. It depends on who we playing. It depends on who we playing. Sometimes we don't really need them, but when we have CD and Amari out, and that can't get the ball out very fast, because Amari, Amari's a great route runner. So in man coverage, if we can't get the ball out fast, then you can see that we missed Smith. But sometimes we don't need them. We just gonna run it down your throat through the guards. But we had a guard out. Connor was out too.
Yeah.
So that hurt more than Tyron Smith.
And Chris Jones was one of those guys going into the year. I remember I saw an interview with him when he was like, I'm really excited about this year. They're gonna move me around the formation. And he's like, Aaron Donald's one of my favorite players in the game. He's like, he's probably the best in the world. And he's like, just when he said that, I was like, oh shit. And you see the way they're conscious, Steve Spagnuolo, he's doing that. He's moving them around. You know what I mean? And Frank Clark coming back. I don't know how he beat his case. Hell of a lawyer, probably. Because remember, he got caught with the automatic thing in California. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be toast. And ever since he came back, damn, that helps that front. I ain't gonna lie.
Jaws said some people have lamb on Turkey Day. It's not quite right.
Hey man, some people. Hey, shout out to all my Muslims out there, man. Salam alaikum. And you know what I mean. You got to be on your halal sometimes. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
I'm not mad at halal. I got a lot of Middle Eastern homies, bro. Growing up, so I've dabbled. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with that tzatziki, that cucumber, like yogurt shit, bro. It sounds nasty, but it's fire, bro.
And seeing, I've never been able to mess with that. It's like, no. I mean, right by where I'm at, like, man, we got the Euro spot that's been cracking since the 80s. Like, it's so funny. Like, even before that, probably, like, my uncles used to hang out there when they were like,
got the gyros.
Yeah,
the gyros and shit. I fuck with it all, dog.
I had to be the savage to just go in and change the game. Like one day I just asked if I could put bacon on there. And they're like, why? I was like, I don't know, just sounds good. And ended up being really fire.
Yes, listen, bacon on everything is what it do. Like my mom asked me, she said, what are you gonna cook for Thanksgiving? As everyone brings, I'll be getting down, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what, I'll just do a side. I'll do, bacon top, cheddar mashed potatoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like bone. Yeah, because if I would have said regular mashed potatoes, it would be like, you know what I mean? But
everybody does that.
Bacon. Top it with bacon, though.
Yeah. Now you can just puff out. You say it with your chest, like after
it's not even a side anymore. It's like its own thing. He came to play now. He's a starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe that's what we when we have the what if show this week. Maybe that's something we need to talk about, like your starts and sits on some Thanksgiving food.
Oh, we're gonna do it. We're doing it.
There we go. Hell yeah. All right. So David threw it in here. Logan Thomas coming off IR. So he's expected to return to practice is the exact verbiage that I saw. So sounding good, though. I mean, we'll know more on Wednesday, but
it's annoying, man, because I've been surviving without him. And now I'm going to have to push someone off my bench to bring him back in the fold.
So real quick, let me say something to a couple of my guys. I see him in the chat. So guys,
he has a bone to pick. Hey, you see, so I was like, let me just address these things.
No, because it's all good and fun because I love it. But they were saying about a couple guys. So guys, it's a lot of guys that I've been right on, and it's a few that I've been wrong, but it's a lot of guys that have been right. Now the timing might have not been right. So because he's saying something about I said something about Penny. Penny was a nice stash. If Penny could have stayed healthy, Penny would be having an opportunity to be used in this offense. So I still stand by Rashad Penny.
Here's what you got to remember. Just remember this quote, okay? Just remember this quote. But it's like when I'm right, I'm right. But when I'm wrong, I could have been right. So I'm still right because I could have been wrong, And I could be wrong right now, okay? Yeah. But I could be right.
I had to start Alex Collins, right? And then I had Penny because I picked him up to speculate. And then I'm like, but you know what? We're going to throw in Alex Collins because we're not going to fool with that. And then the very first touch of the game is Rashad Penny. He rips off an 18-yarder. And I'm like, fuck. Because I made a conscious decision to I picked up Tony Jones in a lot of spots, threw him right in the IR. Then it was like I had to take him out. So I cut Penny everywhere. I was like, man, what am I doing with Penny? That's what I was telling myself.
And this is the version of Rashad Penny that Peach Carroll was talking about. His name's Peach Carroll, if you guys didn't catch that. on the
Oil
last
is
show.
generous.
Yeah.
but like I felt there was that one moment where I was like, dropped Penny everywhere. Because I see that 18-yard run. I'm like, damn, they really fucking crazy, Pete. They really gonna do it. And then that was it for him.
He literally went from the 18-yard run to the sideline into the blue tent. That's what happened. That's what happened.
That's what happened. Oh, that's funny, bro. And you know what's crazy is a lot of I even picked up Sermon to speculate in a lot of places, and then like just the combination of Sermon and Collins, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play Collins when I should have played Sermon. At least Sermon put up like 6 points in the PPR. Like, there's no running back that we want in Seattle, bro.
No,
like we
not
don't
at all.
want any of them.
Not with Russell Wilson there.
I mean,
look at what we've come to.
Yes, I said what I said.
Hey, listen, man, he's playing ass, bro. And like they
It's
asked,
a
I saw this shit where Tyler Lockett was talking about how when we watch film, we don't see those formations when we play these teams. They show us different things. Then they asked Russell Wilson, so have you been seeing different things? Like, what is that? What's going on here? And then Russell Wilson goes, no, we haven't seen anything different. It's like, so if you think about it, the relationship between the communication between the QBs and the receivers, which is like you're supposed to be symbiotic. They ain't on the same page, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
they might be on the same page, but more than likely a different book at this point.
Or maybe just not, they ain't in the same chapter, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
there you go.
Russell's still in the old book, the days of old, where like, hey, you just gotta believe. You look, I got this limp finger, but I just believe, and it's gonna happen, bro. And then he goes out there and it's like looking at his hand, like, damn. You know what I mean? It's like when Spider-Man can't shoot the webs no more. He's like, fuck.
Rust Wilson.
Yes, just Rusty.
All right, well, here we go. We got a super important question in here that came in from Life and Sports Talk with Jake. Said, you like the bacon crispy or a little soft? And I like it a little bit soft. I don't like it extra crispy.
Me neither. I like it soft.
I'm in 100% agreement with you guys. But when I top the mashed potatoes, I do it crispy.
Well, that's different.
It's a texture thing. You got the soft fluffiness of the
bacon bits
of the mashed potato. Yeah, and I'm using real bacon. I'm frying the bacon, chopping it up.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that bacon bit shit is just that's like cardboard. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what this is. I think it's chemicals.
Right? It's cardboard with synthetic bacon
That's
flavor.
what it is. That's exactly what it is. No cap.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah. Hey, listen, do this for me. Take a Cheeto and you can light that bitch on fire. And it'll run. Like, you know what I mean? This is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bacon bits, I bet you anything, bacon bits will go right up in flames.
Wow. You're right.
Yes. And
I
hate it though when the bacon is too soft and it's in my burger. It's supposed to have a little bit of dexterity. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Am I using the right word? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a real big fan of bacon burgers. That's the most thing I put bacon on. If I go to McDonald's and I feeling like a fish fillet or something, I'm gonna add bacon and shredded lettuce on that motherfucker. That's the way to do it. You know what I mean? Get a side of tartar sauce for the fries too. You know what I mean? Anytime I go anywhere, I'm adding bacon to that bitch. You know what I mean? I get a Philly cheesesteak, add bacon on it. You know what I mean? It's gotta be done. We got this place called Rubio's. You got Rubio's out there?
Yep.
Right?
We do, yeah.
Rubio, because it's like a commercial, like Hispanic spot. I say Hispanic because it's like El Salvadorian, Mexican. They just take from everything. But like you could add bacon on shit over there. And like, so I'm just in that motherfucker just because, bro. It's a fish taco place. I can add bacon on it. I'm saying.
Yeah, the only place you can't add bacon is In-N-Out. And I remember one time I got on April Fool's because I saw something that In-N-Out was going to start offering bacon. Got. Let's see.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Jaguars. They placed Jamal Agnew on IR. Man, he hurt my lineup yesterday. Last time we're going to be hearing his name on here.
I told everyone, don't touch him. Even when I found out he was getting the 5 targets a game the past few weeks, I was like, it's too hit or miss.
Sorry, Justin. He will not be missed.
Everybody. And I'm going to miss everybody.
All right, but how about for the Broncos. You guys hear about Cortland Sutton's contract extension? 4 years. I didn't hear about the Tim Patrick one. Well, I'll look out that I'll look that up right now so I can see the numbers. But Cortland Sutton, 4 years, $60 million, 30 guaranteed.
Hey, man, get the bag, young brother. You know what I'm saying? The ball is in his court, and he took it to the house, B.
Let me see. Okay, so yeah, Tim Patrick. So he got a 3-year, $34 million. So,
hey, get your bag, young brother. He deserves it. Cortland Sutton, I think it's because they don't want him to leave next year, right? It's that's what's going on there. Because he's had a 1,000-yard season, but like that's pretty much it. He's been, hit or miss. Tim Patrick, on the other hand, is a guy they can't let him walk out of the building. You know what I mean? And like that's solid money for a guy who's like a number fucking 4 usually. You know what I mean? Because he done worked his way all the way up. He's like an Adam Thielen. Remember, Adam Thielen was like a special teams guy. He made the team, went to the practice type of shit, like to the tryouts even. You know what I mean? Tim Patrick, one of them guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he used to play special teams and shit.
Mm-hmm. And they probably told him, "Don't worry, we only got one. This is the only year with Bridgewater, and we're gonna get rid of Locke because he sucks. And we got someone coming in next year. Don't worry, we're gonna get someone."
Corky Kirk.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. Man, just so many possibilities. Like, who the hell
Derek
knows?
Carr? Dare I say Derek Carr gets
Oh, man, that made me throw up in my mouth right now. That made me throw up in my mouth right now.
Hey, listen, I don't think Derek Carr is good at all. You know what I mean? But I also think that, like, his situation was always bad over there. You know what I mean? Like, there's shittier quarterbacks that had more success than him. Look at Jared Goff, for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying? I think Derek Carr's better than Jared Goff.
Sorry for everyone that we told to start Derek Carr. I'm sure there was a couple people out there. Luckily, one of my peeps didn't listen to me, so he started Cam. It was supposed to be just like that Cowboys Chiefs game, right? And he bragged to me about starting Cam over Derek Carr, and he was like, "Man, if I would have started Waddle over like Big Mike Williams, like, man, I probably would have already won by now."
Who would have done that?
A lot of, I mean,
like I don't know, like
who would have done that? I mean, a lot of people, a lot of people were off Mike Williams, especially this week.
Yeah.
They needed the confidence. They needed the confidence from us to throw him in the lineup. And luckily he hit, because not going to lie, I was getting nervous.
They were trying to get it to him early in the game, so I was like, he's going to have a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Keenan Allen, man, ever since the bye week, man, there's no doubt you're throwing in 10 receptions in your lineup, man. I love it.
Yeah, Keenan Allen doesn't sit. He's back. He is back.
To Keenan Allen Wayans.
Yeah.
The creator of In Living Color.
Yeah. All right. Now for the Browns. So Baker Mayfield, supposedly, I mean, according to Stefanski, he's going to be good to play through the issues that he's got right now. Jarvis Landry is going to be able to play through his knee injury that he has right now as well. And Kareem Hunt is supposed to start practicing this week.
It's a big deal. For a team that has a 1-2 punch, you need that 2 punch. You know what I mean?
It's important.
Yeah.
They got the Ravens coming up this week, so that's a big time game for this division. I mean, they're still at the bottom of the division at 6-5 right now.
That's crazy. I mean, well, we are deep into the year. You know what I mean? One more loss, they're sitting at 500, and you got to be. I think the 7 seeds. Like you're only guaranteed a 7 seed this year. I think if you got 10 wins, you know what I mean? If you got 9 wins, you're going to need your destiny isn't in your hands right now. You need other things to happen for you. Like, because I think that's the threshold here is at least 9 wins. So when you look at the Browns, the rest of the schedule, you think they got 3 more wins in them?
Let's pull it
You know
up.
what I mean?
So they got the whoa. So they got the Ravens. And then, so they have their bye week the week after that. And then they got the Ravens again. So 2 out of their next 3 games are against the Ravens. That's kind of, I mean, 2 out of their next 2 games, not 2 out of the next 3, 2 out of the next 2, because they got the bye week. in between. So that's insane.
Yeah, they go straight up. They play them twice in a row.
I mean, this is tough. This is going to be tough, no lie, because you got the Ravens twice in a row, then you got the Raiders, then you got the Packers, then you got the Steelers, then you got the Bengals. So either way, 4 out of their next 6 games are all divisional. So, I mean, if they clean house, they could end up at the top. They shit the bed, they're definitely going to be at the bottom.
Yeah, and I think the Bengals, that's going to be a very big, like, important battle between when the Bengals meet the Browns again, because the Bengals, the Bengals are the ones I want to win because that's the most fun, right?
Yeah,
you want it, right? Because no one thought they were going to be like any kind of good this year. You know what I'm saying? And like that defense actually came to play. You know what I mean? They added some key. You know how people say it's the best team sport, and like only like basketball and baseball is where like one player can, like, you have a solid pitcher. You know what I mean? You can win a whole games with him. You know what I mean? You got LeBron, you finna win a lot, right? But like,
especially when he's punching dudes in the eye, right?
And football is a complete sport, right? A complete team sport. But man, when you add guys like Henderson and who else did they add in the offseason?
You talking about the Browns defense?
No, I'm talking about the Bengals, bro.
Oh yeah. Guy like Logan Wilson coming up.
Yeah, and then all these other guys start to pop up. Jesse Bates, you know what I mean? And even just bringing in a guy like Awuzie, who's like, not the greatest corner, but someone competent, because then they brought over secondary.
They brought over Trey Hendrickson from the Saints. So that was
Hendrickson.
Big.
That's who it was. Not
Hendrickson.
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 Yeah. Hendrickson.
Yeah.
There you go. Hendrickson sounds better.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that was probably one of their bigger moves, because you lose Carlos Dunlap, over there. I mean, just send him off to Seattle kind of at the end of his contract, and then now they got him, Hendrickson and Hubbard. Hendrickson and Hubbard, those guys are doing really solid over there on their line.
Man, I remember we were like in the 35th round in that 50-round startup dynasty draft, right? And I just kept passing on all those Bengals players, Hendrickson, Hubbard. You know what I mean? They were all there, bro.
I have Logan Wilson in like all those dynasty leagues. It's awesome. No one was picking him. A lot of people didn't even really know who he was. Let's see. Now, sticking with the Ravens, though. Okay, so they came out on Monday, and John Harbaugh said that Lamar Jackson's feeling a lot better today.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean,
he better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He better.
Did that? So I know you have him in at least one dynasty league. How much did that hurt you? Like, last moment with Lamar, or did it hurt any of your teams at all?
It didn't, and this is what I want to say too, because I got a lot of flack about Cam. That's why I was talking my point earlier. It's a lot of things that I've said, and it's finally coming to tuition. So yeah, I had Cam. So Cam played good. It really didn't bother me. And also I picked up Joe Flacco too. So I had guys to replace Lamar. Also in the Scott Fishbowl, I had Tyrod Taylor, because I've been talking about Tyrod Taylor. So I did an early video talked about Tyrod Taylor and these the Houston being the replacement players. So I knew they could play. That's why I picked them to win the game. Not to win the game, but at least cover.
But that's as good as picking them to win. Yeah.
Yes.
In that terms.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you killed that, man. What's funny is we were talking about it earlier, and in my head, I was like, man, I hope he parlayed something like that, because that's what you
tried. I tried to hit up Iggy, man. He didn't. He was busy doing some things, but I wanted to put some bets in. So
yeah. Because, like, what I'm saying? Whenever you feel strong about some dogs, you don't just put money on them, parlay them together. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Yeah. Man, a 3-game parlay on three teams, like, 10-point underdogs. Like,
money line it? What if you money lined it?
I mean, that would have been just fucking wild.
Money line's like what is it? Like 1.5 your money?
No. If you parlayed the money line.
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah. Still
if I'd have parlayed Houston, or what's the other team that won? Houston.
Green Bay. I mean, Houston, Minnesota.
The Colts. Houston Colts.
There was
and one more other team.
Yeah, that's right. The Colts was the big spread.
Yeah, who the hell was the other one?
Hey, well, did the Lions cover? I don't remember the score.
Yeah, the Lions did cover.
Wow.
And I actually picked the opposite.
Oh, that was it. That was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that. So I had the two. I had Houston and the Colts. And I remember I've been talking junk about Buffalo all year. I've been telling y'all they not as good as everybody think they are.
You know what's crazy is they got beat the way the Tennessee Titans beat them. Just run like shit on them. You know what I mean? And they were the number 3 run defense going into this game, but they have a top 3 run blocking line in Indy. So that's because that's a testament to how good Derrick Henry was when he was healthy. Because that's a bad line he's running behind, and he tore up Buffalo. You know what I mean? Nobody's been able to run on Buffalo. Maybe it's also a case of like they haven't played any phenomenal running backs like outside of Henry and JT.
And I'm pretty sure that Tremaine Edmonds didn't play. I mean, he didn't practice all of last week. And
Milano didn't. He was limited all week too. So there's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Tremaine Edmonds being out, like he's really been one of the biggest forces on that defense. And for anyone who has him in IDP, I just checked the injury report for today because they play on Thursday, and he was a full go at practice, so he'll be back this week. But that makes a huge difference. Your dopest linebacker, like not on the squad, like that makes a difference to a guy like Jonathan Taylor getting 185 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
Hey man, I was watching that game last night. And by Sunday night, I'm faded. You know what I mean? Because I've been having fun all day, and I was like, Eckler's finna get a 5th one, man. Like, get him to 5. It's like because no one's gonna talk about his 4 touchdowns. All they're talking about is JT 5. Jamal Charles, the last person that had 5. Blah, blah, blah. Get out of here.
Yeah, I won $65 on Super Draft Pro yesterday.
Yeah, I seen that.
Couple of the early games hit, and I had Jonathan Taylor. So one thing that's dope that I really love about Super Draft Pro is you can literally pick any player.
Yeah.
So all of my lineups had Taylor and CMC, and CMC wasn't the best running back, but either way, like if you're looking at it without the multipliers, he still finished as a top 3 running back on the day.
Yep.
You didn't win if you didn't have Taylor.
Yeah, you had to have him in. So JC Money, he was pissed because he didn't have Taylor in anywhere. Everyone was worried about the Bills defense and everything. And like
I had him in 2 out of 4 because I figured people are gonna think like that, right? Like they're gonna think and just avoid him. But and then when you have lower ownership, that's also how you win. Because if like in this case, if you didn't have JT, you're finito.
He was only 10% rostered in the the contest on the $100 tier. He was only 10% rostered.
90% of the other motherfuckers didn't stand a chance because they didn't have Taylor. So that's why like ownership is important, like to project, whether we think whether we should fade the chalk or not, because you know what I'm saying. Like for example,
so you don't know until the games actually start though.
But I'm saying that's why I said you have to project it.
Well, what you call it? Also, they get it. Certain people do get that intel hustle.
Yeah, but that's for DraftKings and stuff. Because these are services you can pay for, and they'll show you ownership on players. Yes. When I was heavy into DraftKings, I was fucking with that shit. I was paying monthly to. It's key information to have, because when you're setting up multiple lineups, like double-digit lineups, I used to be in it. I'd be like 50 lineups. You know what I mean? And like.
Yeah, JC Money killed it. So he finished 13th in the elite game and didn't have Taylor. He probably would have came in first if he had Taylor.
Yeah, he kept saying on the show yesterday when I was watching y'all. No, and here's another thing. You got to decide when you're going to fade the chalk because you really know what the public's finna do. Everybody was on AJ Dillon.
Yep.
So like I only had him in one of my lineups. I didn't want, and I put it, and everything else had Mixon. Like I put Mixon in every single one of my joints because I was like, it's a good matchup, and no one likes Mixon.
I wish I had Mixon as my RB2 in every lineup over CMC because that would have been better. And then I had Wilson in a handful of my flex spots.
And this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do on Playmakers this Wednesday. Is we're gonna break down the Thanksgiving Day slate for Super Draft Pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk this thing out because I'm sure all the price. I mean, all the multipliers, everything's already out, right, for Thursday.
It's the day before that they put them out. Well, I mean, I guess I see them earlier than a day before. We could probably go look for them and check them out.
Yeah, because then you know what I'm saying. Well, so that's what that show will be about. We'll talk about some some chalk plays because sometimes you gotta have the chalk. Like I haven't looked at the game slate this yet. You know what I mean? But like Zeke's probably if Kamara plays, You know what I'm saying? Kamara is going to be super chalk, and that might be chalk that we can't avoid. We might need to have Kamara because you could run on the Cowboys, especially if you're a pass catching running back. But also, people tend to not be on a guy when he's coming off an injury. You know what I mean? They might even forget about it.
Saints go up against the Bills.
Oh, it's the Bills. Oh, my bad. I don't know why I was thinking Saints Cowboys.
So here goes the games, just so we know. So it's the Bears versus the Lions. That's the early one. The one in the afternoon is Raiders versus the Cowboys, or Raiders at the Cowboys, and then Bills at the Saints are the nighttime game.
Montgomery, I'm saying that he's going to be in 100% of my lineups. That's the guy you got. That's one.
Are they going against the Bills?
No, they're going
the Lions.
they're going against the Lions.
Oh, okay.
Nick Chubb just put up a 120 on him on the ground coming off of COVID.
Yeah. Killed it.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got here. A couple more pieces of news. Well, for the Eagles, Jordan Howard has a knee sprain, likely out a week. They said he could be available the week after that.
So that
we're just avoiding the Eagles backfield altogether, right? Because that Miles Sanders was, that was bullshit. It shouldn't even brought him back.
It was a bad matchup.
He was killing. He fumbled
twice.
He was killing
twice. He fumbled in the game.
Yeah.
But you know what? For what it's worth, that was one big. He only had 2 big games last year. Actually, 3. It was against the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Saints, because he had like big breakaway runs and shit.
Yeah.
But and so that's probably why they brought him back. They're like, man, he's the threat we need against this type of run defense. But his rest of the season schedule is lovely, man. It's so soft against the run. Like, I want Miles Sanders. It sucks. I was trying to trade for him for the low in a lot of spots, but like JC Money had him in one. And I was sending him Tony, and he's like, I don't want Tony. I was like, but he was still on IR. You know what I mean?
Sanders, I'm sure after a game like that he had this past week, especially for those who don't actually watch the game,
yeah. But it's bad. It's just there's no trade. The trade deadline already passed, so it's all bad.
Nice. There we go. Primetime Steven said, just got my jersey, hustler. There we go. That was the Alex Highsmith jersey. Sorry it took so long, but man, post office.
Season.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It's the season. You know what I mean?
No, it was me. It wasn't the post office.
Oh,
it was me. Yep.
I got to send a bunch of shit out this week.
Yeah, it was me taking too much time to get down there. All right. We talked about Jonathan Taylor. Here's some bullshit for Jonathan Taylor. Quentin Nelson aggravated that ankle injury. More news to come with how severe it is, but re-aggravated. It's the same ankle that he had the issues with preseason.
They need him.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They need him to handle Aaron Donald. Somebody like that, for those guys that, good defensive tackles, because he can handle any D tackle in the league. He's the best.
Like in Ndamukong Suh. That's who they're going against this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Vita Vea's out. So this team is going to be susceptible. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say it real. You know how I am about my games. The Giants might win tonight.
Might. That's like a vague declaration. Are they going to win? Then that's more spicier.
Oh, yeah. Well, if I was picking, yes, I'm picking the Giants.
Okay.
I'm definitely taking the points.
I'm taking the Bucks.
I'm taking the Bucks too. We're talking straight up money line, but here's what could happen. Like, what if Brady takes a hard sack and it's like Rocky, when he has those flashbacks, like going up against Ivan Drago, in the 5th one or whatever, when he starts having the flashbacks to, Clubber Lang and all that stuff. What if Brady takes a hard hit right to the dome and then starts having the flashbacks of Eli and the Super Bowl and losing, and I know Brady is real, I'm sure he bathed in avocados and all that, but
yeah, I was gonna say he'll get into his corner and then the ghost of Mickey will ring out some fucking avocados in his mouth. You know what I mean?
Just they don't have Antonio Brown. They struggle.
They got Grunt coming back.
Yeah, and that's our injured Grunt on ribs. I'm not sure about that. I wouldn't play him in fantasy, but
yeah, he said he's playing tonight, barring any pregame setback.
So yeah, pregame set. I don't need
nobody give him a hug. Pat him on the back too hard. It's all bad. Remember Gronk? He had that little patch for 4 years where it was damn, dude, it just don't have Gronk. You know what I mean? Because he just couldn't stay healthy. There was a nice 4, maybe 5 year stretch.
Yeah,
the dude had like 12 surgeries for real.
Yes, he had 3 in college.
Yeah, he has a whole one of his elbows is all titanium and shit.
Yeah,
or if not elbow, forearm or some shit. You know what I mean? The dude just
Then the last piece of well, let me see here. So just looking to see if there's any news here, really. And now that's pretty much it. So we'll answer some questions here for a few. We got to remind everybody though about Super Draft Pro. You guys got to go get involved with this. You can get involved for free in our YouTubes. We all have links to go get signed up. So whether you're on Fantasy Good Sports right now, the GMM Network, or on mine, the Fantasy Football Hustler channel, look in the description. There's a link that you can click on. For Bogard and for TD, it says superdraftpro.com/whatever, is on the end of it for theirs. Go get signed up right now. Mine, you can go to sdhustler.com. That's all you got to do is type in sdhustler.com, and it's going to bring you to the page. You get signed up for the contest. It's a subscription. You either do $0, there's a free one, there's a $20 one, a $50 one, a $100 one. We're all on the $100 one here. Bogart finally got onto it. And so from jumping to the 20 to the 100, what do you think with everything you saw, Bogart? Like the payouts, like the amount of people in it? What do you think?
Oh man, everything's better, bro. Like I was playing with the game when first of all, I'm weird like that. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do the $20 thing because if I don't like it, I don't like that I spent $100, right? Or 140 because I wanted to be a coach. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, okay, I'm fucking up. I need to get in the hundo. You know what I mean? And like it's one of those things, man. I'm like, I'm running around. I got to drop cash in that account so I can run that card that it's to. You know what I mean? And that's just how long it took me to get around to it because I just be. Bro, I got a list of 12 things I got to do all the time, time.
Yep, I know what you mean, bro.
You know what I mean? Hella kids, and just even this morning was crazy to get before. And I always appreciated people's time, that they dedicate to me. So like I'm always trying to be on time, and like I'll let him know, it's like what 2 minutes before start time. Like I just got home, I got to get the kids situated. Brought to McDonald's, this and that. You know what I mean? Like then I've been sitting there too, trying to eat. I had to reset my internet. I'm like, fuck, you know what? My burger. You know what I mean? Like,
and so like when it came to playing though, so what do you think? Because you were on the $20 one initially. What do you think about those extra contests that you have now?
We encourage everyone to get in, period, because it's all fun, but I like more fun. And the $100 joints is where it's at. You know what I mean? Because that's that's the fantasy that I'm aware of. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the most to me, like DraftKings and FanDuel and shit I used to fuck with heavy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I want to get into tournaments. Like, it sucks. I made a lot of bad moves yesterday because it's kind of my first time. Like, I had to get back into the mind state. You know what I mean? Like, because contrarian always won me money. You know what I mean? And I'm like looking at this shit. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put Adams in every one of my lineup. Devontae Adams, Tyler Lockett. I'm like, oh, people are not going to start Tyler Lockett. They hate him. I put Tyler Lockett, and like he actually did well too. You know what I mean? Like it was just like certain things that I did in every single one, but I didn't have, Justin Jefferson everywhere. I didn't have, you know what I mean? I didn't have JT in every lineup. Like, you know what I mean? But and that's what I'm saying when we start to do content for this, you know what I mean? We're going to be able to diagnose the core players that you got to have, and I'm going to put them in every one of my lineups. You know what I mean? Because that's how you got to feel strong about these things. It's not this is fantasy. This is why it's not gambling. You know what I mean? There's some skill here.
Yep.
And how about you, TD? I mean, you've been on the 100 for a minute, but how'd your games go yesterday?
Is a couple players. I had Justin Fields as my quarterback. I've been telling people to pick him up and stash him. I still think that was a great call. I guess it's going to I'm right when I'm wrong and I'm wrong when I'm right. But I actually thought I think Justin Fields would have had a good game. He just
you can't predict. He looked cool. He looked cool too. You can't predict that he's gonna get hurt and get a case of the rib shot. You know what I mean? And for me, I consciously put Joe Burrow in most of my joints because I like that game to be a shootout. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Cam was one of the best ones to play yesterday. I only played him in two lineups. I wish I played him in more. I played Mahomes in a bunch, just thinking that game was going to be a shootout. Yeah,
I stacked that game up like crazy in a couple of my lineups, where it's like Prescott, Schwartz, and CD. You know what I mean? And then on the other side, you know what I mean, Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? Because I like game stacking. That's another thing too. If there's a high game point total, You know what I mean? There's a reason for that. So I'm gonna try to get the pieces from there, and then, you know what I mean, and benefit from it, because that's the only time you can do. You can't do that in your redraft teams, right? No. You can only do this in dailies. So it's like I'll game stack when I think it's there.
And it's way more fun. I mean, you guys tell me. I mean, I know you guys used to be heavy on DK and all that kind of stuff. Do you think it's better having the budget or more fun to be able to pick literally whoever the fuck you want?
This is more fun.
I wouldn't say it's more fun, but I think it's a better strategic strategy for a gameplay to play whoever I want to play. Well, and just put the multiplier on the guy. So I want to get edgy and play a guy like Patrick Lard. Let me get 3 times 3.7 his points. So I like that. I like the game flow better. I just got to get used to the cash.
I wish I had Elijah Moore. I mean, because he was someone who, I mean, we were telling people to start him in your redraft and all that. I was already high on him. Literally every redraft league, in my lineups. Everywhere that I have him, redraft dynasty, he was automatically locked in. Yeah. And I only put him in one of the Super Draft Pro lineups. Like, fuck, I wish I had him in every single one. And that's what kept me out of hitting in the top 10 was literally using Agnew over Elijah Moore. The multiplier was a lot more. Well, actually, the multiplier wasn't even that much more. It was like 0.2.
Okay, this is what DraftKings does, right? Because they got like MIT and Columbian graduates, shit like that, right? The super mathematicians, they're the ones doing the pricing, right? So like, this is what they'll do. Say it's like David Montgomery this week against the Lions. I don't know what his price is, but they might make him super expensive because it's like, okay, he has a soft matchup. So we're going to price him up a little bit. Or it might be like a top tier running back like JT, right, against the Buccaneers. And they're going to make him a little more affordable because historically the Buccaneers are a good run defense because that's how they, you know what I'm saying? That's how they level the playing field. Yeah. So it's like, that's the one thing with DK is like, man, every week you got it. And here's another thing with DK. If there's a play, they come out with the pricing on what, Monday or Tuesday? Yeah. They don't change the pricing. So like if you have a guy like AJ Dillon 2 weeks ago, right? You know what I'm saying? AJ Dillon, if you had him, he was super cheap, right? Then the next week they're gonna make him, now he's gonna be super chalked. They're still gonna make him affordable, right? So they make him affordable so everyone stuffs him in their lineups, no problem. And then he does what he does. And half the playing field gets hurt by it. You know what I mean?
So real quick, Life and Sports Talk with Jake. Hey, TD, you should throw your link in here. He's on your channel. He said DraftKings is illegal in Washington. Yes, so this is legal in Washington. You just have to get on a membership. You have to get a subscription. So TD's going to put his link in the comments here. And if you need me to do it for you, TD, I can.
Yeah, I did it. I just did it.
There we go. Yeah, so go get signed up. You can get on the free account, but we're on the $100 account. If you $25 a week, if you like have always wanted to play like DraftKings or FanDuel, go get on this. Like this shit is going to be fun. You're going to love it. And if you know a bunch of people who want to play DFS, holler at TD so we can set up a time to talk and tell you about how you can get some money by telling your friends about this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anybody who lives in Washington, in Oregon, in Nevada, in Hawaii, those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. It is 100% illegal for you to play DraftKings. Like you literally can't even play if you wanted to. You can with this. Like that's the dope thing. You can with this. You can play on this.
Yep.
All right. Well, let me see. Anyone have any questions in here for us? Chase got his question in here. Anyone has any questions, go ahead and throw them in now. We're going to be here for maybe like 15 more minutes or so. Then we're going to get up out of here. I got a Q&A coming up a little later. TD, you got a Q&A coming up or anything?
Yes, yep, I do.
What time's yours start?
As soon as I get out of here and get situated.
There we go. So, yeah, mine's going to be starting at 6:50 Eastern time, 3:50 California time. We'll be streaming up until the game. And so Chase says, is it too soon to panic on Russell Wilson? In Superflex, yes. You're really – there's nobody you're going to be able to get to replace him, you know, down the road. So, I mean, don't drop him or anything. In a 1 QB league, I'm not mad at selling him cheap just to get rid of him because if you already got someone decent who's been, you know, getting you through this, But I'm still going to hold him, though. I'm not just going to outright drop him.
See, you know what's crazy is like you could pivot to a Mac Jones or some of these guys that are going to be available. Maybe a Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Garoppolo is probably my favorite one to pivot to right now because he's just doing it for fantasy. Like he's giving you 20 points, and anything over 20 is the cake, the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? So those are some nice pivots, especially schedule wise. I think Jimmy's my favorite replacement for Russell Wilson because I can't. The next time Russell Wilson blows up, it's going to be on your bench because you shouldn't play him until you see it again.
Right.
I agree, but I'm gonna disagree a little bit. Okay. I told these guys last week, I seen it, and it hit me hard because this is Russell, last name Wilson. It might be over for him. I don't know if he ever get that touch again because that when your finger breaks, you can't really fix a finger. All you can do is heal it and straighten it up. You can't really fix it and get the flexibility in it like you did before. So I'm thinking that Russell never has that type of touch. And if they're not going to change up the offense where they can get it to Tyler Lockett, where they running a bunch of crosses, and they keep trying to get the ball deep, they're going to keep struggling. So this is what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to do it with Bogard right now. I want to give him DK for I want to give him DK Metcalf for Najee Harris. I'm getting off of even in Dynasty. Yes.
No, we're not doing that at all.
Listen, that's what I said I'm trying to do.
I thought you were going to say Elijah
That's
Moore.
what I'm trying to do, right?
Elijah Moore,
do it.
I think we could talk like Elijah Moore and DK. I mean, like, because I still believe in DK. And
I do too, but I don't believe in DK if you can't
maybe
get him
not this year. Maybe the rest of this year, DK is a bust, maybe because he's already a bust compared to where you drafted him, right? Or in redraft, for redraft purposes, right?
Yes.
And Russell Wilson, I mean, watch. We have one game where we see Russ and he's cooking. We're never worrying about Russ again. I think this is just still his road to coming back from that injury, and I think maybe the road continues and we don't see him good again this year because maybe that's how long it takes. You know what I mean?
It could be like one of those. It could be like one of those years where like people are off him, and then he ends up being a top 12, QB the next year. Because we definitely live in a world where that finger, there's not as much flexibility in this, but I find it hard to believe he won't get back to himself if he rehabs that finger all year. And that's I
want to point something out here. This is the obvious. White Jesus loves Russell Wilson. He's going to pray, and his finger will be all right. When? I don't know, but it will.
Yeah, it could be tough this year. And especially if they don't have anything to play for, do they just sit him down early because they know that his finger is holding him back.
Then you can play DK. If they would do that, I'd be fine with keeping DK and Tyler.
Hey,
I want to see Geno out there. I said what I said, and I know it sounds crazy. I need Russell to take a seat.
I mean, listen, it's whenever a backup comes in, like when a couple years ago, Aaron Rodgers goes down. Devontae Adams wasn't really one of them. He was a mid-round guy that year, and this was 2017.
Yeah,
and then he goes on to actually have close to 1,000 yards with Brett Hundley, and that's when he really arrived. Devontae Adams, like sometimes the backup is just like someone. If as long as they're serviceable, look at Colt McCoy. You know what I mean? If anyone was crazy, what is Rondale Moore the new Jalen Waddle? You know what I mean? All of a sudden this backup, it just the guys are serviceable in fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean,
listen, if you want to win, I would do it right now. See, it's the difference. If you want to build up a great team for the future, then you don't touch Russell Wilson. But if I'm trying to get dubs now. I like to compete. I don't like losing. So
Russell Wilson,
I'm willing to get rid of DK and get rid of Russ. And if I could pick up Cam Newton, even in a dynasty league, I would try to get a little bit more than Cam, but maybe get like a second round pick or something with it.
Now you don't do that with Cam, not in dynasty, because Cam's not guaranteed anywhere.
I wouldn't do that in Dynasty, but Chase said debating on trading for Newton. So I'm assuming unless someone says Dynasty, I always assume redraft when we're talking these streams. So, Wilson for Newton, I mean, maybe you even get more than Newton. So you have to remember, it's not about how much you want Cam or need Cam. It's about the person who you'd be trading him to. So if it's someone who has someone in front of Cam, maybe they don't even value him as much as you. Maybe you can trade Wilson off because they really want him, get Cam plus one more back. So don't just sell low on Wilson if someone really likes him.
And it's also because the person that picked up Cam didn't draft him. He's
No.
a waiver wire guy. So you could view it like that. Like, hey man, I got Russell Wilson, you know what he could be, you know what he is. And you got Cam off the waiver. He's probably he was probably a streaming option for whatever QB they might have had on a bye week. You know what I mean? Like,
if you pick up someone off the waivers and I trade you for him, you're getting less than what you want for him because he meant nothing to you. That's just my thought. Like, that's going into the negotiations. They literally mean nothing to you. You didn't draft them. You don't have any ties, especially if they went off and you got one good game out of them. You're already playing with house money at that point anyways.
yeah.
Yep. I did trade. I did make that trade, second take. And when Tony started booming, I want you to keep that same energy, bro. That same energy.
Hey, I want to say something. When Shepard is healthy and he's in the lineup, he leads that team in targets every game.
I agree, Bogard. And that's why Sterling Shepard is gone next year, bro.
Yeah, it's for Dynasty. I'm not mad at that trade because it's so vast the outcomes, right? You know what I mean? And all the variables that are around him getting in the way of his success. Most of them are going to be gone. Evan Ingram's probably going to be gone.
Yep.
Not that he was in anybody's way, but he's gone for sure. Galladay's there. It'll just be Galladay and Tony. And these are guys too next year in redraft are going to be extreme values, like 8th, 9th round, like a Brandon Cooks type, where it's like you just get them hella late and they're actually like, useful.
And that's but even like we had Antonio in the chat and he said he would have given you, he almost wanted to give you a pick just because he felt bad. So when we say like trade for, like, don't trade for the value that you want, like that you want someone, because obviously Tony is super high on TDs, like, dynasty rankings, things like that. But we just want to get top value for whatever the trade is. That's the whole goal. It doesn't matter what the trade is. The whole goal is for you to get top value on every single trade that you make. And I'm not even talking down to TD. I'm just, that's a public service announcement for everybody.
Yeah, and I get it. And you made a great point. The guy said he would give me more. But there
we go. And Antonio's going to take a victory lap every time he can. He said Allen Herbert stack. Woo woo.
Yeah. I love that.
But I'm just figuring, noticing, like, I know if anybody would have traded for Tyreek Hill as a rookie or a second year, especially for like a Julia Edelman or somebody on that level, it'd have been a loss. But now, Hustler, if you was to do that, would you say, well, look, you could have got Tyreek, but you should have got more? You'd be like, no, man, you got Tyreek. You got a killer. So I feel like, the picks is fine. But if Tony hits, I'm perfectly fine with it. I didn't, because I was nervous if I'd be like, let me get a pick. Well, I don't know, TD. Because I've done that. I've negotiated a lot of stuff. And sometimes people
you know what I call that? When you negotiate, you negotiate it away. Right?
Yes, there you go.
Sometimes I'm like, all right, especially when they counter and it's right there for you to hit accept. You're like,
yeah, there you go.
Right here, right now. Yes. You know what's a move that annoys me? Because I've seen this more and more over the years that people, they won't counter that trade. Let's just say I send you a trade, right? TD? Okay. You'll leave it up and then send me a counter separately.
Okay.
Right? So then it's like, if nothing goes with that, you could be like, all right, and hit accept on the other one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I got you.
I hate that move though, because it's a slick move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if someone be mindful of that. If you send somebody a trade and they send you a counter, but leave your other trade up, take the other one down.
So,
you know what I mean?
So Titans for Life sent me Isaiah Simmons and something else for a bench player. I was like, okay. Oh, let me ask for a second round pick. And I hit him up. He didn't respond. No, he didn't respond. So I'm like, hey, he's like, yeah, man, his value ain't right. I'm like, damn, bro,
you had it right there.
Why you don't want to do it now? And so I learned my lesson. I said I should have hit accepted because I could have had Isaiah Simmons on my defensive squad for like a player that I'm not even using now.
So here, I always like to think about Shark Tank when it comes to negotiating. And if it's like something real minute, I won't even question it. I'll usually just go for it. It really depends. If they're trying to get the best of me and I know that they're just sending me some stuff, that's when, like Bogard trying to get the best of me the other day for the QB.
You got the best of me.
It's hard to trade with you, hustler. It is hard. If you don't win it, you're not gonna take it.
Well, but it's got to be a mutual win.
Okay,
that's what it's got to be. It's got to be a mutual win.
Okay,
because there are trades that I make that someone may be like, oh man, that was such a lopsided trade. But I don't care about everyone else's opinion except the person that I traded with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they're okay with the trade, that's literally all that matters. Everyone else is just white noise anyways.
Okay.
And in redraft, right before the trade deadlines, I'm never opposed to moving any of my big names if they got a shit schedule coming up. You know what I mean? Because at least the big names, people want to buy those big names. And then sometimes when you're shopping a big name, people will talk to you about what you want to talk about. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing in trades. Like, if someone's coming at me trying to offer me something, I have all the leverage.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
100%. They walked into your pawn shop like you're Rick at this point.
You know what I mean? So but whenever I'm approaching someone, I want them to feel that way too. Like if I come talking to someone like this a couple weeks ago, I came talking. I had DeAndre Hopkins, and dude he had hella running backs. You know what I mean? That he was happy with, and he was willing to talk Eckler. And I'm like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? And then there was no back and forth needed. As soon as he was with it, we're getting it done. You know what I mean? Because I knew he was running around trying to trade Eckler for XYZ receiver.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, I got Hopkins for you.
Okay.
He's like, yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing too. Like, pay attention to your league chat.
Yeah.
Your league text thread, all that, because people will say what they want to do without you even asking half the time. You know what I mean? They'll be like, man, fuck Eckler, bro. Or not even fuck Eckler. Be like, I need a fucking receiver, bro. I got Eckler, and I see him shopping around, and then he's responding to people. Oh, you guys are sending me shitty offers, and I'm like, boom. Then all of a sudden that helped my cause because I come through, even though Hopkins was hurt, and then he got put. Then he hasn't played for the last 2 weeks. This was before that. And I'm like, hey, man, I got DeAndre fucking Hopkins. This is a big name guy.
Yeah.
What? It perks up his eyebrows. You know what I mean?
Well, and here's one that's kind of random. Like sometimes I don't even mention people's names like right off the bat because you just never know where it's going to go. And I'll give you a prime example. This is in the very first Hustler League, and it's with Francisco. Here we go. And I put a question in here. We'll help you out in a second. It was with Francisco, and I've been taking victory laps with it forever, but the more and more that the season goes on, it's not really like victory laps for me necessarily. So the Carson Wentz news just broke. No one was drafting him, and I drafted him in like the 8th or 9th round in a super flex league. So he just dropped hella far, and I just happened to be there on the news when it happened. I picked him up, and then I picked Debo up in like the 14th round, and so or something like that, 13th, something like that. So I end up trading. I'm going and I'm talking to Francisco about this, and it's that you need Wentz. I want a running back. And he had 2 picks in the second round. He had Barkley and he had Chubb. I thought that he would be more likely to come off of Chubb than Barkley. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I'm interested in one of your running backs. I got Carson Wentz over here. Let's talk some shop.
He did it for you.
Yeah. So he was like, and we're talking. And he was like, we're talking about Barkley, right? I'm like, I wasn't. But, I was like, yeah, we're talking about Barkley. Yeah, of course we are.
yeah, exactly. I would have done the same thing, too.
You know what I respect about that, though, is that he has the respect level that he knows that, I'm saying, if you're going to come after something and you're going to give him a quarterback, he respects the value of the quarterback, that he was willing to talk, someone like Saquon. You know what I mean?
And he pushed off the QB. He went 0 QB in this one, like pushed it off. Like, I don't even know if I think he might have only had like Danny Dimes, like at this point, like when we got to the point where Wentz got drafted. So he was hurting on QBs in general.
Okay.
But he got Debo off of me and he got Wentz, and at this point of the season, I mean, that's a huge win,
it is.
For him over me. Today, it might be the first time I can take a victory lap. We'll see how good Barkley does against the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest too, like that's the things you got to be willing to do.
Yeah,
right? Like the Tony Allen trade.
Yep.
You know what I mean,
I took a risk. But if it hits,
we won't truly know the value of who won the trade, quote unquote, till down the road. Yeah, maybe even just one more year, one more season. You know what I mean?
All right, a couple pieces of news came in. I don't like this one. Arizona is signing Trace McSorley off the Ravens practice squad.
So damn, that shows me that that's a bad tell.
It is. I mean,
But
I don't know if
keep
I don't know if it means. Well, yeah, that's what I think
know
it
what I
is.
mean.
Someone who's similar.
I just figured out exactly. There it is. So they can still use the same playbook with Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
You
they
know
don't
what I
have
mean?
to
Because
change it all around for Colt.
yeah. Colt McCoy sounds like a 6-shooter. I'm strapped with my Colt McCoy.
And wouldn't it be crazy if like Trace McSorley coming over there and then like somehow the Cardinals and the Ravens meet in the Super Bowl or something wild, like that, and then they got the intel on like the parts of the Ravens playbook, or like I don't know if the Ravens are going to be making the Super Bowl or anything, but that would just be a wild if it ended up turning out that way somehow.
Bill Belichick does that all the time.
Within division, especially. He's like, come over here, Chris Hogan from the Bills.
James Harrison.
James Harrison. Come on, just all, even Kyle Van Noy. You done over there in Miami? Okay, come over here. Tell me what they're doing over there. Tell me what they've been up to. You know what I mean? Like, real talk.
Oh, yeah. And then, so another piece of news.
Shit, Stephon Gilmore, too.
Yeah.
He brought him over from the Bills.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, now they're leading the Bills in the East. And so last piece here, and Second Take Extra put it in here. We were off the rails. Adam Troutman suffered a sprained MCL. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and this is pure Adam Schefter.
He was actually coming on too, because if you think about it, you start looking at that offense. Who the fuck is their main guy that you could be like, he's a threat? And Adam Troutman's been the guy. Well,
nobody.
Yeah, there's nobody. But on basis of comparison in the receiving game, he's been the guy. Like, you know what I mean? He's a red zone threat. I mean, also goes back to like Simeon's past with Denver. Like, he favors a tight end. You know what I mean? So it was working until it didn't. Until he gets hurt.
Yeah, Jameis
Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Man Johnson.
Yep.
Hey, he was a thing week 1 with those 2 tugs. I was with Winston though, but I mean, any red zone threat is a red zone threat, and Callaway ain't a red zone threat. Trey Smith ain't a red zone threat. Who else they got over there? Deontay Harris ain't a red zone threat.
No, you know what? Callaway is their red zone guy though. He has 3 weeks straight with a touchdown, and it's always in the red zone.
I thought they were outside the 20 when that touchdown yesterday.
That one was like 23 yards. You're right. So just a cut hair outside the red zone on that one.
I guess Taysom Hill.
For real. Hey, they really need Taysom Hill back, man.
They do.
You know what's funny? How come Simeon shows up when they're losing? Where's that when you're winning? Play with that effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then let your defense be able to take care of it when you guys have any kind of lead. He hasn't played with one lead. Actually, he had. It was against the Falcons, but then they blew that lead early. Yeah, that's when he got in there, they were their number one. They were tied for first. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And now they're like, they're just descending.
And Josh said, any word on what's going on with Calvin Ridley? So the 3 weeks is up, like on that to where he can be activated, but nothing as of yet. Like the status has not changed at all.
I hope I'm wrong about this, but I just don't think he comes back this year. I also think because from a football standpoint, he probably looks at the teams like, I don't want to come back to that. That makes me. That probably saddens him even more.
Yeah, you know, like if you're winning, at least the camaraderie and everything, that might boost your spirits. But yeah, when your team sucks too, like getting your ass whooped 25-0 on the Falcons, he probably looked at that. It was like, man, I'm glad I'm not there right now.
And when you got a lot of things going on, in your life, and even just being in the locker room with your boys and stuff like that, even when that's not helping, it's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's your boys will be there to lift you up 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? And so that's why I don't think he comes back this year. He's really dealing with some heavy shit, bro.
Probably, and nobody knows. So,
I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not making any kind of joke, but it's gonna sound funny though when I say this. But like, what if he just looked at the team and he's like, "Yo, this is so bad. You know what? I can't come in having personal issues." You know what I mean? And he's just living his life, having fun right now. I would like that version better anyway, because I hope he's okay. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
when going to work sucks, I mean, it makes you not want to go to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If he was
plain and simple.
Yep.
Like real talk, like they're CEO billionaires, bro, and they're miserable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people think it's always the people that aren't that are broke that are like, well, that motherfucker has millions of dollars. What's wrong with him? You know what I mean? It ain't about that.
And there's a whole bunch of broke people that we know that happy as long as they could go out, party with some friends every once in a while. I mean, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But money's not the issue on their happiness or not.
It kind of goes back to what we touched on earlier about trading. It's just in life how you value things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, do you value, like, if you value money and that's been your sole possession? I mean, your sole mission. It was to get money, and that when maybe in hindsight, when you look back on after your journey, you're like, damn, I spent all my time getting this money, and you never even got to enjoy it, or even enjoyment is subjective. I mean, everything's subjective. However you value, I just think, like, for me, I always move through life. If there's negative shit that's happening to me, I try my best to never let it affect the ones that I give a fuck about. You know what I mean? Because I don't expect the next man. Like. You ever just anybody who's been in the business, when you go to collect from somebody, they're going to tell you all their life problems. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, listen, I hear you. Where the fuck is my money? You know what I mean? Because you know why? That's some other person's negative shit affecting me. I'm never going to do that to people.
Man, this was so funny. So here's a little side story. So I used to work at Vaughn's when I was like 20. So, I mean, man, at this point, like 15 years ago. And I just always remember, like, I was, the cashier. I was always trying to get through everybody fast so they could get out. They could be happy, that they were just out of the grocery store. And also, as soon as I got people out, I would just be on my phone. So it was like my mission to get people out fast. Be on my phone playing around, until the next customer comes up. And there was always this one lady who was super bitter. She was like 40 years old, so like double my age.
She probably got hella cats, huh?
I probably.
She's probably buying cat food.
So not a customer, like a lady, a cashier who worked at Vaughn's. Had been there since she was like a teenager. One of the people who had been through the first strike and everything, and like hated the job, but was like making so much because like she was there before the whole union thing. Initially, it was like she wasn't going to go do anything else. And so like people would walk through her line and they'd be like, hey, how's it going? And she would like spout out everything negative that was going on in her life. And I would hear this and I would be cracking the fuck up because like you see everyone's face, like they don't care. Like they really don't. They were just saying hi. And like she spouts out whatever is wrong in her life at that moment. And I just I was always high working in Vaughn's. And man, I would just be cracking up.
That would be part of my entertainment for going to work. Like that would help pass the time for me. Because then everyone I would see, I'd be like, yeah, they'd be like, how's work? Ah, man, I got this lady at work. Hella funny.
She had problems with her wrist, so they'd always put her in the express line because it's like 10 items or less. Yeah. But then she would always be going on and on about her problem, so it didn't end up being like a very fast express line.
You know what? Listen, man, I've diagnosed this already. She's a cat lady. And cats don't talk back, man. You know what I mean? She needs somebody to hear. And you know what's funny too about that whole thing is like when you look at the people's faces, you see they genuinely don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They're just trying to say hello. And she's like, somebody, woe is me. Somebody hear me. You know what I would do if I was her? Just start getting extreme with it. Like, hey, how you doing? My husband killed himself today. You know what I mean? Like, just like get really extreme with it because no one gives a fuck about your fucking your day-to-day problems. Like I swear to God, like people that have road rage, it's like it's funny to me because it's like it's not everyone else's fault you're running late. You know what I mean? That's usually what it is too. Like
and like back when Noble wasn't around and I was just living more recklessly. I mean, I would just be smoking like on the way to work. So like I wouldn't care if I showed up a couple minutes late. Definitely didn't care if someone was like rushing behind me. Like
I always found it funny how like people could get mad at things like traffic. It's like the traffic's gonna be there at that time. If it makes you so upset, leave earlier, or you know what I mean, or take the longer route because maybe the longer route is actually the same time it would take for you to sit through traffic, or just smoke weed and shut the fuck up. Because like most people's regular like things like that don't bother me in life. You know what bothers me in life? My kids not eating food. You know what I mean? Or not having a roof over their head. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I first had my first kid, I'd be chilling with my boys in the studio, you know what I mean? Because that was one of my businesses till this day. And like we was sitting there, and then one of the homies was like, "Man, I want to get 24s on a cut thing, bruh. Oh man, I need to get these rims." And I'm like, "Damn, your priorities are all fucked up." You know what I mean? Like, because that was important for him though, to get his debut and roll down the street. And strangers could look at him and be like, "Ugh, that car's sick." You know what I mean? I don't get it like that. That don't feed my kids. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If that was the case, I'd be out here stunting. You know what I mean? 28. You know what I mean? Look at me and it feeds my kids. It's fucking amazing. It's unprecedented.
And Stu, Francisco said he's number 1 in Stu's league in the Dream to Walk League, 6 in a row. Francisco's been on a tear.
Where am I at, Francisco? Am I at 3? I was at 1 all the way until like 3 weeks ago, and it's Francisco that took me off.
Let's see. Here we go. So, as of right now, it shows that he's in second, but I know he beat James Coe.
He did the math for sure.
Yeah. So Francisco's gonna have to do the math and tell us because I haven't done that yet.
Where am I at? But I'm at 3. I'm 3rd right now.
Yeah. You're tied. Okay. You're tied for 3rd. You're tied for 2nd right now with 2 other people or 3 other people, and then I'm in 5th place. Stu's in 6th as of right now. And Life and Sports Talk with Jake said, Bogard, I'm missing the Hulk Hogan.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's my cousin, Bo Hogan. You know what I'm saying? He's out on tour right now. You know what I mean?
And Antonio said, I feel you trying to rush around the truck, beeping at me like, guys, okay, let's slow down. We got a jackass behind us. Yeah. Does make me want to slow down sometimes.
It's not our fault you're running late. Okay. it's so, you know what's funny too is like, and then those are the type of people they'll put effort into like getting up to your window and saying shit. You know what I mean? I can't hear what you're saying, bro. No, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers just be hella angry at the world and shit. You know what I mean? I swear to God, I think weed is really just, I probably would be like the worst person to be around if I didn't have weed. You know what I mean?
Be real irritable like Dave Chappelle, right? And half baked. There we go.
Like I remember when the vape pens started coming around in the early days, like, you know what I'm saying, where you had to load them up. You know what I mean? And like, so Christmas shopping, anytime I'm around crowds, bro, like it's kind of irritating at things, especially Christmas shopping at malls. People aren't in the Christmas spirit. Like it's going to take a minute to find a parking already. You know what I'm saying? And then once we in that motherfucker, it's jam packed. So I just in the mall hitting the shit. My girl's like, you're fucking crap. I'm like, listen, you don't say anything to me or else I can't deal with this shit. You know what I mean? Especially like I call them moo-moos and strollers. You know what I mean? It's the moo-moos are like the big people, and you know what I'm saying, that they just walk through a crowd and just plow through everyone, right? And people with strollers are the same way too. You know what I mean? As a person pushing a stroller around myself, I'm fully aware of how annoying it is when someone runs into you with a stroller. It's hella crowded. If the crowd's not moving, you gotta wait. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking Christmas season. Everyone, you know what I mean?
But you got to be ready because you may get into a little accident while you're walking. It could happen. And Life and Sports Talk with Jake say you guys should do a pick 'em. I know it's kind of boring. That's something we could do though. It's all just timing. That's all it comes down to.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're out of here. So TD, tell everybody where to find you at on the way out.
Guys, go to any social media platform and you can find Fantasy Good Sports on any social media platform from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Go find me. No spaces. Fantasy Good Sports. Also, guys, make sure you sign up for the Super Draft Pro. And yes, guys, if you want to show support to me and my channel, go sign up for the $50 tier or the $100 tier. The other tiers is really not going to help me out. But if you sign up, I'm still okay with it, guys. Also, guys, go to OnlyFans. And no, I'm not taking off any clothes. As y'all know, I'm giving fantasy football content. And if you subscribe right now for only $10 a month, you will be grandfathered Clausen for life as my channel grows and gets more subscribers because I'm going to have more volume, so I'm going to raise the price. So, guys, make sure you subscribe right now, and it's only $10 a month.
There we go. Bogard, tell everyone where to find you at.
First off, Coca-Cola, give me money, right? The earth is my turf, per usual. Universe, give me money. You can subscribe to the GMM Network on YouTube. definitely sign up for Super Draft Pro. If it ain't with me, sign up with one of these fellas. It don't matter. Just sign up and drop $100 on it, because that's how you're really gonna get some money. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're just incredibly lucky and you hit in that basic package. But man, join the elite. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna be more upset when you know that you could have hit that same lineup in the elite joint and made like 10-fold more.
I've already made probably like $160 since we got started with all this. Only threw down 100, on the $100 plan. Now, I would have made more because I was initially in the basic plan for the first week when nobody knew about this at all, because I was the first one to take a shot on this. But we're bringing all the homies along because, this shit is fun. And I got mad. I got mad. You already know. And I got mad because both of my lineups hit on a Thursday, and I should have had 4 lineups and been in higher paid out contests. So yeah, we gotta get on that $100 one. Any tier you get on, we're gonna like it, but you're gonna like it more if you get on the $100 one. More contests, less people, higher payouts, and it's every single day. And there we go. Life and Sports Talk with Jake said subbed to both you and Bogard. Bogard and Hustler. Good looking. Good looking.
Do you got a channel too, Jake? I'll sub right back and check you out, man.
Yeah.
Every time I read his screen name or his username, it sounds like a podcast.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's why I read it out. Life and Sports Talk with Jake. Life and Sports Talk with Jake. What's going on, Jake?
Yeah, is it a channel you drop content on there? Yeah, we'll all go subscribe to that.
Yeah, man, check it out, man. You know what I'm saying? I love life talk and sports. It's all my favorite things.
He said, "No, not yet."
All right, well, there we go. We got to get you there. Got to get you there. And just go to fantasyfootballhustler.com for me. You can get to everywhere. You can get to Patreon there, all the social media platforms. You can even get to Super Draft Pro from there as well. So make sure you guys go check it out, fantasyfootballhustler.com. Go subscribe everywhere to all the podcasts and go get on Patreon. I'm doing the Q&As. Next one starts in a little bit less than an hour. Everyone on Patreon gets first crack at all the questions. So go get on there. Any tier that you're on, you get first crack. And we'll be back in less than an hour. And Nigel, he said, what does the GMM stand for?
It stands for Give Me Money Unofficially. But, you can make it stand for whatever you want, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Get more money. You know what I mean? God made me. You know what I mean? Whatever you want it to be. But it's definitely Give Me Money. Because it's something I just been saying since I was a wee tyke. Like, it's funny because my mom was just here. She would have vouched because growing up, we always went to casinos, bro. Reno, Vegas, shit like that, bro. And my mom would always be like, she'd be like, I used to trip as a kid when you look out the window and the moon. I'd be like, hey, the moon's following us, because you don't know any better. You're a kid, right? And then she would always be like, tell the moon, give me money, and because that's because the Asians, bro, and Filipinos and shit like that, or even just people in general. Different society cultures, they think the moon is good luck. It brings you good fortune. So that's why she told me. And then I would, if something was fly to me, like, Coca-Cola, hey, Coca-Cola, give me money. But also I mean it too. Like, yo, Coca-Cola, give me money. Like,
give me money to Bogart is like, forget about it to a wise guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
All right. We're out of here, guys. Hey, hang on the stream for a second. I got to tell you guys something before you get off. Okay, all right. Yeah. We're out, guys. See you next time tomorrow. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. Make sure you're tapping in. Peace out, guys.